I think we're live. Are we live? Give me a yes, we're live. Anybody in the chat, tell me if you can see me, hear me. We're live, we're live, we're live. Hello. Okay. All right. All right. I got you. I got you. Family Legacy Starter. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. We're just going to start. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm so grateful for hitting 10,000 subscribers. I had no idea this would happen. No idea. My wife 4 years ago told me that I should start my own YouTube channel, and I said, "No, I don't think I'm gonna do that because it's a little over my head. It's above my pay grade." And well, I think 6 months ago, she sat me down and said, "Let's do your conversion story and see how it goes." And that was 6 months ago, and now I'm at 10,000 subscribers, and that's thanks to all of you guys. So about a week ago, I had pulled my subscribers what they wanted me to talk about, what topic that I would want they wanted me to talk about in my first live stream, and they said the conversion of family and friends, the salvation of souls, and so that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, but before we get into that, today is a special day. I don't know how many people are watching this right now or in the chat, but can anyone guess what today is? It's a very special day. Very special day. January 22nd is, it's okay. It's okay. Well, I'll give you a hint. Okay. Check it out. Those are my driver's license pictures. Do you guys notice anything? Do you guys, okay, life. Yes, life. Today is the National Protection of the Unborn. Oh, someone got it. Happy birthday. Yes, today is my birthday. I'm 42 years old. The driver's license on top, obviously, is my Minnesota one. That is like 15 years old. And the one below that, obviously, is from Kansas. That's where I live now. But yeah, today is my birthday. And yes, we should pray for the unborn. Isn't it kind of a coincidence, or rather a spiritual irony, that day of the prayer for the unborn is the day I was born? Yeah? Pretty cool, huh? So yeah, thank you for that. Yes, it is my birthday. 42, I know. I look like I'm 50, but anyways, there you go. There's my do you guys like the pictures? Come on. Do you like the pictures? Okay. So, the conversion of sinners or those in our family, the friends, even strangers, acquaintances. How do we convert souls? Okay. I know a lot of you guys already know, but maybe you don't know. I think the first thing before you can even think about converting a family member, a friend, a stranger, an acquaintance, is you need to convert yourself. Okay. Now, remember, as Catholics, our whole vocation of holiness is lifelong, right? It is absolutely 100% lifelong. We are converting every single day. Okay. We are a spiritual work in progress. And before we can work on other souls, we have to make sure that we are living a holy life. We have to make sure that we are in a state of grace, right? Loving God, loving neighbor, and doing his holy will. Okay. And how do we get to that point where we're at a position in our own lives of spirituality where that in which what we do, whether that's our prayers, our sufferings, our almsgivings, whatever it is efficacious? Okay. So we got to focus on ourselves first. So how do we do that? How do we get to that point? Right. Okay. So there's just a few things that I'm going to tell you. You can disagree with me, agree with me. You can offer me constructive criticism in the based memes. Yes, based memes will convert the world. That's hilarious. Based memes. That is great. But no, for real. How do we focus on ourselves? I think one of the problems, I've been Catholic for 10 years, and what I've noticed and what I've experienced, the biggest impediment to our own holiness, which is an impediment to converting sinners, because the only way you're going to convert someone in your family or anyone for that matter is if you're in a state of grace and you're holy and you're working towards your own salvation. But that one thing is committing daily deliberate sins. Venial, daily deliberate venial sins. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about grave matter. I'm not talking about mortal sin for right now. Okay? But I think that a lot of Catholics on a day to day basis don't realize the impediment of deliberate venial sins and committing them has on one's own spiritual life. Okay? Now, we all sin. The just man sins 7 times a day, right? But notice in that passage from Proverbs, it's the just man falls 7 times. What do I mean? So we all fall into sin, venial at least. But if you're falling into sin without doing it deliberately, it's not going to be that much of an impediment on your soul, right? Does that make sense? Are you guys with me so far? So, for instance, for an example, falling into a venial sin, I stub my toe and it hurts so badly that I just cuss right away, just impetuously cuss. I drop like an F bomb, like you would not believe, right? Okay, it's a venial sin, but it's not deliberate. Okay, it's an inadvertent kind of passion falling into a venial sin, right? Okay, but if you're deliberately sinning venially, so for instance, if for the pleasure of it or for the whatever, I don't know if you're addicted to it, but if you're deliberately committing venial sins like cussing all day, what have you, that's going to be a huge impediment to your spiritual progress, and you're not going to be able to convert anybody. Okay. All your prayers and all of your almsgiving and everything in your whole life isn't going to be efficacious, right? Because St. James tells us that the prayer of a righteous person availeth much, right? So a prayer of a righteous person will provide and obtain the graces and the dispositions for the people that you want to convert, but you have to be righteous. And if you're deliberately sinning all day, every day, venially, and you don't even realize it, that's a huge impediment. That's something you got to work on. Okay, so what's the remedy? What's the solution for preventing and stopping committing daily deliberate venial sins? It's real easy. It's real easy. A true devotion to our Blessed Mother and prayer. True prayer and a true devotion to our Blessed Mother, right? Why is that? Okay. Do any of you have those and you're still struggling with deliberate venial sin? You don't have to say in the chat because that's a personal question, right? But in my own life, in my experience, right, my radical relationship with our Blessed Mother and the Rosary on a daily basis, not just like here or there, that has obtained for me, again, I'm not boasting, but that has obtained for me a lot of the graces and the dispositions that I need in order to become that whichever God is making me. And hopefully my prayers and my sufferings are efficacious and meriting graces and dispositions for my neighbor, those whom I'm trying to convert, correct? So you're going to Mass every day. You say the rosary every day. You fast every day. And then yet no one's getting converted and you're committing deliberate daily sins, right? What's the problem? What's the problem? You don't have, and again, I'm not pointing a finger at you, but I'm just saying in general, you don't have the proper disposition and preparation for the sacraments to work inside of you. Okay? So a lot of people in our world go to mass, whether it's every Sunday, whether it's every day, and their lives spiritually aren't really changing all that much. Well, what gives, right? It's because they don't have the right disposition. It all comes down to disposition. You know what I'm saying? You guys know what disposition is, right? The proper state of your soul, the magnitude of the charity that's in your heart, right? To prepare you to receive the blessings and the graces, especially from the sacraments, right? Holy Mass and the Eucharist primarily. If you have the proper disposition, you are going to receive everything, right? For you to become a saint. Now, if you have the right disposition and the right level of charity in your heart, it takes one Mass and one Holy Communion for you to become a saint, a canonized saint. Okay? So, true disposition, a true devotion to our Blessed Mother. Okay? Some of you guys probably already know all of this. Okay? And I'm just regurgitating it, whatever. That's great. But you need the point of saying all this before you can convert a family member, right? Before you can work for the salvation of souls, you have to get your own spiritual order, or spiritual life rather, in order, okay? For your prayers and your sufferings and your almsgiving and whatever to be efficacious for that. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions in the chat on that? Otherwise, I'm going to move on. Okay? All right. So, our Blessed Mother, right, is the mediatrix of all graces. Do you guys understand that? What Jesus Christ merited infinitely, he did through his own nature in a strict sense. Okay. He didn't depend on anybody, it wasn't contingent on anything. However, Mary, our Blessed Mother, at the foot of the cross and by her whole life, she merited for us congruously. I'll get to that word, congruously. She merited for us congruously all the dispensations of the graces that Jesus Christ won for us. So all the graces flow through Mary, like the neck from the head to the body, right? So any grace that you're going to get, and any grace that, remember, I'm talking about actual graces and dispositions. Any of the graces that we're going to get are going to come through our Blessed Mother, right? She dispenses all of them, right? Hence, mediatrix of all graces. So if you have a true devotion to our Blessed Mother, right, on a daily basis, right, and you consecrate yourselves to our Blessed Mother, not only are you going to get all the dispositions and acts of gracious for your own life, right, but you are actually going to be able to congruously merit the actual graces and dispositions for your family, friends, strangers, acquaintances, and loved ones for their conversion and ultimately, hopefully, their final salvation, right? None of us can strictly merit someone else's salvation, right? Jesus Christ does that. Mary, the saints, the angels, me, nobody can do that. Does that make sense? But what we can do is we can congruously merit, right? Based on the merits of Jesus Christ, we can cooperate with the grace of Jesus Christ, right? And all the graces that we obtain, and we can merit graces for other people, right? By our sufferings, by our prayers, by our almsgiving. But you have to be in a state of grace. And you have to be striving for a devout, pious, holy life for your prayers and all the other things to be efficacious for the conversion of souls, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so you need a true devotion to Mary before you even think about converting your family members. Now, I want to get a little personal and a little serious here. Some of us have children. We all have loved ones, obviously, immediate family, extended family. The one thing that I could never imagine, and if anyone here is listening and watching or in the chat has lost a child to physical death, my heart goes out to you, my prayers go out to you. I can't imagine that pain. I have 3 daughters, and to lose one of my daughters, I honestly don't know what I would do. I really don't know how I would process and handle that situation, right? And that's losing a loved one to physical death. Think about losing a loved one, especially a child, but a loved one, to spiritual death. right? Having a loved one fall away from the faith, having a loved one leave the church, right? To me, honestly, I meditate on this, and if I imagine one of my daughters leaving the faith and falling from the church, to me that would be more painful than to lose a child to physical death, right? And that brings up Saint Monica. Saint Monica knew that. Saint Monica knew the importance, right? The crucial importance of the salvation of not only her husband's soul, but her son's soul, Saint Augustine, right? Is that, yeah? You guys with me? Saint Monica, Saint Augustine. Is there, you guys see that in the background? Yeah? If there was no Saint Monica and 17 years of prayers and fasting and suffering, there would be no Saint Augustine. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So, but prayer is the number one thing. I don't know if you guys probably are or not. Prayer. Prayer, prayer, prayer. This whole talk is going to be prayer. But again, you have to be in a state of grace and you have to be living a holy life for those prayers to be efficacious. The prayers of a righteous man availeth much. Okay, so prayer. Prayer is the basis. Okay. Now, in my opinion, in my theological opinion, I'm not a theologian, I'm just saying, in my theological opinion, prayer needs to be complemented with suffering. It's like, you know how they say faith without works is dead? Prayer without suffering, to me, is dead. That's a theological speculation, okay? I'm not quoting a saint or a church dogma or anything like that. Suffering, to me, is what gives your prayer efficacy in terms of converting souls, especially your loved ones, okay? Fulton Sheen once said, the one prayer, the one prayer that will always get answered with 100% absolute metaphysical certainty is if you ask God to send you suffering, especially for the salvation of a soul. It's a scary prayer. It's a scary prayer because you're not going to know what suffering it's going to be. You don't get to choose your cross, right? And it's going to be a heavy one because that's the weight of a soul for all eternity. But yeah, that's what Fulton Sheen said. So really, it comes down to zeal. Do you guys know what zeal is? What zeal means? Have you ever heard of that? St. Thomas Aquinas talks about it a little bit, but I mean, really, zeal, it's a love so intense that you would, in a sense, you would rather give up your own salvation for another soul. There have been plenty of saints that have said that. I mean, maybe they were being hyperbolic or poetic or devotional, but there have been saints that, I think Saint Catherine of Siena said, I would give up my salvation. I would give up my soul for this loved one. And Saint Paul, what did Saint Paul say? Remember, if I could be cut off from Christ for the sake of my brothers. He's talking about his brethren of kinship, blood brothers, right? The Jews, Israel. Think about that. If I could be cut off for the sake of my brethren, or cut off from Christ. See, he said if because really it would be inordinate to give up your own salvation, right? Or your own soul for the salvation of another. That would be inordinate, right? We're supposed to love ourselves first, and then by doing that, then we can love others, right? All right. Does anybody have a question on what congruous merit is, or should I just skip over that? You guys all understand that it's not strict merit and it's not condign merit. Like we can't merit someone else's salvation. You guys with that? What we're meriting based on grace is graces and dispositions for other people. It's just grace. It's just meriting for other people. Does everyone understand that? I don't know. Some people in the chat. Okay. Then I'm just going to move on. Okay. I'm just going to move on. All right. So what is the best form of evangelization? Anybody want to take a guess? The best form of evangelization. Okay. We got crickets in this chat. Gosh, I wish. The best form of evangelization is love. Okay. Someone just quoted Nietzsche. To live is to suffer, to survive is to find some meaning in this. Wow. Okay. Wasn't Nietzsche like radically anti-Christian, atheist, if I recall? I don't know much about Nietzsche, but yeah. Yeah, Delta prayer for sure, for sure. Prayer. Prayer is the basis for everything when it comes to the conversion of and the salvation of souls. Prayer is everything. Everything. Um, but Pope Francis said like prayer, you pray, right? And then you act. So it's not just this discursive reasoning, this meditation, this contemplation, or whatever. You pray and then you act, right? Well, how do you act? What is love? Love is in the will. It's an act, right? Of the will. Love. It's to will the integral good of another, especially through self-giving and sacrifice, right? That is how you convert souls, right? Through love. I mean, that's basically what it is, but especially through suffering, right? You guys remember St. Paul, what he said in Colossians 1:24? Okay. I'm just going to share my screen just super quickly. So, this to me, if you guys are trying to understand like suffering for the salvation of souls, where is that in the Bible, like explicitly? St. Paul 1 verse 24, Colossians, now I rejoice in my sufferings for your sake. I don't know what's going on with my. And in my flesh I complete what is lacking in Christ's afflictions. For whom? The sake of his body, that is the church. So his sufferings, right, are for those at the church of Colossae for their sake, right? Those afflictions that it lack in Christ, not inherently or ontologically, but just for the sake of his body. So when we suffer, we can minister and obtain graces and dispositions for our loved ones through prayer, love, but through suffering. Does that make sense? Okay. So, yeah, love, willing the good of others through self denial, seeking nothing in return. Okay. That's true love. It's not an investment, right, guys? Seeking nothing in return. Love is total self-giving, not receiving, right? Even though the more we give, the more we receive, St. Francis. Okay, all that stuff. Okay, what not to do? What not to do when you're trying to evangelize and or convert your family, friends for their salvation. What not to do? It's you want to know? Do nothing. Don't do anything. What I mean by that, let me qualify that. What I mean by that, verbally, when you communicate, okay? You don't want to try to coerce or convince others with argumentation. That's the worst thing you could possibly do. Proselytization. Say that 5 times fast, right? We don't proselytize. We evangelize, okay? We don't go on doors knocking, okay? Real quick, St. Francis de Sales. Do you guys know how he converted 72,000 Calvinists in Eastern France? Anyone? Anyone? Okay, I'll leave that hanging while I move on. So think, St. Francis de Sales converted 72,000 Calvinists in Eastern France, but how did he do it? Okay? I'll leave that there. All right. So what do I mean by do nothing? You live your faith, right, by action, not by talking and convincing and communicating that in that sense. Now, if somebody were to come up to you, whether it was a family member or friend, and ask you, hey, why are you Catholic? Or what's up with the Catholic Church? Oh, then it's game on. But you need to be careful, though, on what you say and how you say what you're saying to that person, right? Because it could drive that person further away from wanting to even think about converting to the Catholic Church. So, I have a funny personal anecdotal story here for you on what not to do when someone comes up to you and asks you why you're Catholic or why you converted to Catholicism. You guys ready for this? So 9 years ago, this is me when I was a Catholic for 1 year. Nope, less than a year. So I was a Protestant Lutheran. My Lutheran pastor, well, ex-Lutheran pastor, messaged me and he said this. Think about this opportunity if you guys got this opportunity. He said, Eric, I hope you had a nice Thanksgiving. I am preparing for a talk on helping young people stay in their faith. I need your help in understanding something. You represent a small segment of your age group which has gravitated toward Catholicism or Eastern Orthodoxy. Can you explain to me what caused you to head this direction with your spiritual life? Please understand I'm not in any way trying to put you down for this or start an argument, but simply trying to understand where you are coming from. Hope you are doing well. You want to know what happened? I'm all over this. So you got to understand, I grew up as a Protestant Lutheran, a conservative confessional Lutheran for 25 years, right? So mainstream Protestant, liturgical conservatism. I can't talk, right? So I'm anti-Catholic. I'm not just some evangelical that doesn't know his or her faith, right? So I like to do apologetics. Even back then, I'm all over this. So what do? What do you think I do? Do you think I say, hey, we should get together for a coffee and just sit down and talk and have a nice chit chat? No. What I did was I typed an 8-page diatribe condemning and attacking Lutheranism and Martin Luther. Real seriously, that's what I did. Why did I do that? I had some bitter resentment for the 25 years of my life as a Lutheran as to why my Lutheran pastors did not tell me the real Martin Luther and who he was. And the errors that I had to find out on myself, or not on myself, but for myself, of Lutheranism, Martin Luther, and what he was all about, how he's anti Semitic, and, he was neurotic, and he had hatred for the Pope and spoke the most, crude language and all that stuff. So I wrote him an 8-page diatribe. Do you think that helped in his hopeful conversion to the Catholic Church? Or do you think that probably made him more indignant towards the Catholic Church and the Catholic faith? Yeah, the latter, I'm sure, because we didn't really talk much after that. So if you get an opportunity and someone asks you why you're Catholic, or why you converted to the Catholic Church or whatever, be very, very careful, be very patient and slow. Pray about how and when and what you're going to say to that person, because this could be a golden opportunity for you to plant a very, very deep seed. Okay. And hopefully it'll blossom into a real, actual conversion. And yes, I mean anti-Pope too. I thought I said that. Maybe I didn't. Very anti-Semitic, very anti-Pope. Yes, he wrote a whole book on it. Both of those too. Gosh, I should tell you guys a funny story. But no, I shouldn't. But do you guys understand where I'm coming from with that little anecdotal story on what not to do? Basically, when it comes to evangelizing, so prayer, suffering, and love, right? Action, action, action. But when it actually comes to evangelizing with your words to like family members and friends, don't do anything. Don't do anything unless they come to you and ask. Then you got to think prudently. You got to discern. You got to pray. What am I going to say? How I'm going to say? Does that make sense? Because I fell into that trap. Okay. I don't want to spend all night on that story, but I'm just saying that's what you don't do. Okay. St. Francis of Assisi, it's attributed to him. He says, always preach the gospel and when necessary, use words. Again, we could dissect that quote, but in a sense, the element of what I'm trying to say of, less is more when it comes to what you're saying to people. Okay. Don't go up to your family members and say, if you don't convert to the Catholic Church, you're going to hell. Okay. We good with that? All right. All right. So no one came up with the St. Francis de Sales, right? The number, how many people he converted. So St. Francis de Sales, right? Bishop over in Eastern France. Eastern France was Calvinistic to the core, just rotten Calvinistic. And I'm not trying to denigrate anybody who's Calvinistic or whatever, but so he had a tough time and trouble preaching over in that area. So what he did, right? This is what he did. He came up with these pamphlets of, I think, twofold pamphlets. On one side, it was basically listing 700,000, not quite. Not quite. I don't think there are that many people in Eastern France, but yeah, that's a good guess. But on one side of the pamphlet were the Catholic truths, Catholic teachings, and then on the other side was exposing the errors of Calvinism. So he had this pamphlet, right? And he made a whole bunch of them. And what he did was, I would assume at night, inconspicuously, he would go and he would slip the pamphlets under their doors, right? And he ended up converting, you ready for this? 72,000 people. 72,000. But do you notice how discreet and subtle that was? He wasn't knocking on the door and saying, hey, you guys, if you don't leave your Calvinistic ways, you're going to rot in hell for an eternity. No. Remember, it's subtle with love. That's very important when you're talking about evangelizing. Okay? Okay, so yeah. So the 70,000, yeah. So you just added a zero. Yes, gotcha. Yep, good job. You win a prize. You absolutely win a prize. Scholasticus and Corrida. Did I say that right? That's got to be Latin for scholastic. I don't know. You're gonna have to tell me what that means. But so real quick, when it comes to evangelizing, okay, Pope Francis said it the best. Okay, I'm just gonna share my screen. So Pope Francis said that, quote, the church does not proselytize, right, but rather grows by attraction to the beauty of God's love. Evangelization does not begin by seeking to convince others, but by bearing witness each day to the love that has watched over us and lifted us back up. Communicate this beauty to convince people. We are the ones who announce the Lord, who do not announce ourselves nor a political party or an ideology, but put people in contact with Jesus without convincing them. Let the Lord convince them. Okay. As Pope Francis, do you get what he's saying? Really, you can let the truth speak. You can let your actions of love speak for themselves. You don't have to convince with propaganda and rhetoric, right? No one wants to hear rhetoric and propaganda. What does that do? That scandalizes, that makes them feel inferior, and it pushes them further away from the truth, right? Again, and I'll say it for the third time. If somebody comes to you and asks you, why are you Catholic? Or why did you convert to the Catholic Church? Or what's up with Pope Francis? Or if they start the conversation, yes, go with it. Go with it, but do it in a very charitable, loving, prudent manner. Here's the thing, guys. If they start the conversation, don't hog the conversation, okay? Don't tell them where they're wrong. Don't do that. If anything, take ownership of the conversation by asking them questions. Why are you a Protestant? Why do you think this way about the Catholic Church? And let them think that they're owning the conversation when it's really you owning the conversation. You know what I mean? Throw out the pamphlets. What? 27 people threw out those pamphlets. He converted every one of those 72,000 except 27. So yeah, they threw out the pamphlets. Pope Francis loves traditional Anglicans and seeks full communion with them. I'm sure he loves Anglicans. And yeah, of course. Why wouldn't he want to? He wants to seek full communion with the entire world, in it not by compromise or indifferentism, but in love and truth. Right. Right. That's the whole mission of the church, is to save every single human being on earth. Right. Okay. All right. All right. Quiz time. You guys ready? St. Paul. We would have no St. Paul if it wasn't for this person. I will give you a hint. It's not Jesus on the road to Damascus, okay? We would not have the conversion of St. Paul if it wasn't for this person. Should I leave you hanging and let you probably Google? Are you guys Googling this? I don't know if Google will give you a straight answer on this. Google's Protestant, right, guys? However, ChatGPT is bona fide Catholic. All right. Well, should I just tell you? I don't see much participation. Can anyone tell me how many people are in the chat or in the live stream right now? I can't see. Anybody? I'll give you a cookie. Oh, we have a winner. Wow. Family Legacy Starter. Did you look that up? Or did you know that? No, I'm sorry. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You knew that. You knew that. Yeah. All right. So Acts 7, right? St. Stephen, the martyrdom of St. Stephen. I'll pull it up for you guys. So just, you know the story. You know these verses, right? Okay. So I'm just going to start at 57 and I'm going to read. But they cried out with a loud voice and stopped their ears and rushed together upon him. That's St. Stephen. They cast him out of the city and stoned him. Again, Stephen. And the witnesses laid down their garments at the feet of a young man named Saul. And as they were stoning Stephen, he prayed, Lord Jesus, receive my spirit. And he knelt down and cried with a loud voice, Lord, do not hold this sin against whom? Lord, do not hold this sin against whom? Go back up 2 verses. I mean, yeah, it was a plurality of people, right? But it was Saul. So in this sense, Saint Stephen died. He laid down his life and he died and he suffered for the conversion of St. Paul. Now you'll say, well, it was Jesus on Damascus that converted St. Paul. Of course. But where do you think the actual graces and dispositions for St. Paul came from for him, St. Paul, to actually cooperate with that private revelation of Jesus Christ trying to convert St. Paul? Because guys, Jesus did not convert St. Paul against his will. He did not coerce him, right? And it's likewise with our Blessed Mother. St. Gabriel did not coerce Mary into her fiat. These graces are congruent graces that have come from other people, right? Namely, strictly Jesus Christ. But in this case, it was from St. Stephen praying, Lord, do not hold this sin against them. Does that make sense? That's that congruous merit that Stephen acquired for St. Paul to convert. Does that make sense? So no St. Stephen and no, martyrdom in his prayer for Saul, we don't have St. Paul. I mean, think about how big of a theological giant St. Paul is. Every time you think of St. Paul, you should think of St. Stephen, right? All right. So no St. Stephen, no St. Paul. Anybody guess at my next combo, no blank, no blank? Anybody? Probably the most famous conversion story, right? I mean, in a sense. Yeah, if we would not have St. Augustine if it was not for St. Monica. Would we? You can't tell me that St. Monica's 17 years of incessant prayer, suffering, fasting, and tears had nothing to do with his conversion. Now, did those convert him intrinsically? No, but they provided all the congruous merit and all the actual graces and all that stuff for St. Augustine to slowly and gradually come to the point where he followed the dictates of his conscience, right? And became Catholic. Remember the story where he opened the Bible to Romans? And that was an actual grace, right? That's an actual grace. That came from St. Monica herself. Okay. So yeah. Um, oh, also a side note on St. Augustine. So St. Monica went to St. Ambrose. This was before, long before St. Augustine converted. Went to St. Ambrose. He was a bishop and said, "I need help. I'm doing everything I can to convert my son and to make him Catholic. I tell him this, I tell him that, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know what to do. He won't listen, all this stuff." You know what St. Ambrose said? St. Ambrose said, "Leave him alone. Let him be and pray and suffer." So I guess in a sense, no St. Ambrose, no St. Augustine, right? Didn't St. Ambrose baptize St. Augustine? Yes. That was a rhetorical question. Yes, he did. Absolutely. All right. So yeah. Boy, I think we're almost done actually here, but I do want to share this with you really quickly. So you guys know the canon law. Do you guys know this? Do you guys have this? Do you own this? 83 Code of Canon Law. Oh, I seriously just broke my neck. Okay. Did you know that there was a apostolic constitution written by Saint Paul II, right? Called Sacrae Disciplinae Legae. Okay. And it prefaced this whole book. Okay. It prefaced this whole book. Code of Canon Law, 83, right? And the last thing he said was this. It's just so beautiful to me. He said, quote, "I therefore exhort all the faithful to to observe the proposed legislation with a sincere spirit and goodwill in the hope that there may flower again in the church a renewed discipline, and that consequently the salvation of souls may be rendered ever easier under the protection of whom? The Blessed Virgin Mary, Mother of Church." So do you remember at the very beginning how I said, if you want to convert souls, your loved ones, your friends, strangers, acquaintances, whatever, if you're working for the salvation of souls, you need to obviously focus on yourself and your own holiness, but it's imperative. Like if you love your mom, your dad, sibling, child, cousin, whatever, as much as to lay down your life 1,000 times to save their souls, you need, first and foremost, a true devotion to Mary. It's just, you guys know we're required by the church to have a true devotion to Mary, right? I'm not saying you have to pray the rosary or the Angelus you get to choose. But yeah, no one has gotten to heaven without Mary. Nobody. You can't get to heaven. You can't get to Jesus without Mary. It's just impossible. So, St. John Paul II, the salvation of souls may be rendered ever easier under the protection of the Blessed Virgin Mary, Mother of the Church. Does that make sense? Are you guys with me on all that? Also, what did Jesus reveal to Saint Faustina? What was the most pleasing prayer to Jesus Christ as revealed to Saint Faustina? Do you guys know? Anybody? I know I'm putting you on the spot. I know not many, not everyone knows all this stuff. I do because I prepared for it, but the most pleasing the most pleasing prayer, the prayer that pleases Jesus Christ the most is what? And it'll always be answered. The prayer for the conversion of sinners. Yes. Yes. I mean, really, our salvation lies in our vocation, right? Those who are entrusted to us, right, are the ones that we lay our lives down for the salvation of their souls, right? It doesn't matter whether you're single, married, ordained, or religious. It doesn't matter. There are souls in your life that are entrusted to you in some way or fashion that you're responsible for their salvation, right? And the only way that you're going to save anybody is by saving yourself first and converting yourself first. Okay? All right. I think we're done. What did I miss, guys? Anybody? Bueller? But yeah, everything is grounded in prayer. Without prayer, none of this even matters. None of it even matters. Wow, we're done. Okay. Come on. Q&A, ask me anything? No? No? Q&A, ask me anything? Let's see here. Doesn't that bring the Virgin Mary pre-existed Jesus type of theology? You're gonna have to clarify that or be more specific. Um, like what in which way or what part of what I was saying would that imply that the Virgin Mary pre-existed Jesus? I mean, obviously she didn't. I mean, remember, Jesus Christ is a divine person. Okay. So I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming you mean that when you say Jesus, but he's God from all eternity, you know, begotten from the Father, right? Yeah. So he pre-existed Adam and Eve and Mary and everyone else. Who is my favorite saint? Well, whenever you ask this question, you have to say this, right? You have to say besides Mary and Joseph. You have to, right? It's always been Saint Therese of Lisieux, and that's not by my choice. That is not by my choice. It is. She came to me. I read her autobiography, the whole thing in front of the Blessed Sacrament, and I pray her offering to Divine Mercy every day after Mass. And yeah, she's my favorite saint. She's my sister. I love her so much. I did discern with secular Carmelites for a year and a half, and then they kind of disbanded. Where did I get the picture of Saint Augustine and Saint Monica? You want to know where I got that? Sorry. I worked at a school. I was a special education teacher, and they had this like $50,000 printer, and you could print pictures of that quality, like poster size, mint condition quality, like laser digital, whatever you want to call it. And I printed out like 4 different ones, and I printed that one and I framed it. If you want it, okay, $20 plus shipping and handling. Plus shipping and handling. Does that make sense? St. Francis is yours? So I would argue that besides Mary, Joseph, and Saint John the Baptist, Saint Francis of Assisi. You got to clarify which Saint Francis, by the way. There are many Saint Francises, but I'm assuming you mean Saint Francis of Assisi, and he is absolutely right behind Saint John the Baptist. I think in glory in heaven. That's just my opinion, but you know, you know what I mean. Let's see. Any other? How do I show devotion to Mary in my life? Wow, that's a really good question. So I pray the rosary every day. I pray the Our Lady of Sorrows 7 Hail Mary prayer. I'm trying to think of what else, if that's it. I don't want to leave anything out. Um, so here's the thing about our Blessed Mother. Oh, here. This is my real devotion to our Blessed Mother. So you guys, if you desire true holiness, right? What do? You go to Mass and you get the Eucharist, right? My What I do and what I suggest to you guys is every Mass that you go to, right? You need to pray to Mary and bring her into your heart before Mass. That will dispose you and prepare you for the Holy Mass and Holy Communion. I have a rosary wrapped around my hand every Mass, and that's not just for like some superstitious, ostentatious whatever. I've just always done that since I've been Catholic. It's because like she's with me, she's holding my hand. So that rosary around my hand is like she's holding my hand during Mass, the whole Mass. And she's carrying me and holding my hand to Holy Communion, right? So anything that I am, right? Again, I don't know. I can't judge myself, but anything that I am or will be is because of her. I mean, I'm Catholic because of her. You know what I'm saying? Sorry. Did I see Mike Gendron's latest talk? Oh gosh. I don't know if I can go through Mike Gendron again. Um like I haven't, but yeah, I don't know. Boy, guys, pray for him. Pray for him, right? St. Thomas Aquinas is my confirmation patron. I probably wouldn't be a Christian if it weren't for his method of theology and intercession. Yeah, he's the goat, right? I mean, is he not the goat? Like like so I like St. Augustine, but dude, St. Thomas Aquinas, like, come on. Like, yeah. You know how many times St. Thomas Aquinas quoted St. Augustine in his Summa Theologia? Do you know how many times? 3,300. Do you guys know whom is quoted more than anyone in the catechism? Come on. Come on, y'all. No? St. Augustine is. I think he's got St. Thomas Aquinas beat by like 40 quotes in the catechism. Can devotion to being Mary be too much? Obsession. I have been told that we Catholics just obsess over saints and forget Jesus. The only way I could see devotion being too much or like an inordinate obsession would be if you did turn it into some kind of latria or worship in the sense of latria, where you're sacrificing bulls to her. I don't know. I mean, there was a heresy of uh, people offering cakes like sacrifices to Mary. I don't know if you could be too devoted to Mary, because every time you're praying with Mary or to Mary and you're with her, I mean, you're with Jesus. It's like there's no separation there for me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, most of the statues we have of Our Lady have our Lord with them. Most of them. But on the title, what if they have a hard time believing in the papacy? It really depends on the context. It depends on who it is, what it is exactly about the papacy that they have problems with, right? And I mean, is it papal infallibility? Is it his supremacy, his universal jurisdiction? Is it, all the lies that the media and other top apologists and theologians have propagated about him? It's you're never going to convince a non-Catholic of submitting to the papacy if that's a stumbling block for them. You know what I mean? That's impossible. But I would just suggest that what do you know about the papacy? What have you heard? You know what I mean? Is it because a lot of people what they think of the papacy really isn't what the papacy is. I grew up thinking the Pope couldn't sin. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So it's just clearing up confusion and stuff like that. But yeah, again, it just depends on the situation, the person, what it is they're confused about. You can't proselytize. You can't convince this person, but you can never love Mary too much because you can never love her more than Jesus did. Exactly. Thank you. Okay, so you actually answered that question better than I could. Scholasticus and Carita. That's that's the best answer. I know, like, gosh, why didn't that come to me? Yes, hi, God bless. We're doing Q&A and ask me anything. So really, you know, anything. I mean, within reason, but how can so again, I'm not trying to reprimand you, okay? So there's nothing I don't care that you call them trads. I would just humbly not call them that. Like, so like the labels of people, like, I get what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with it, but it just breeds division. So when people call other people trads or papists or pope splainers, all these different labels within the church, I would just steer clear. But I know what you mean. So for the sake of argument and the sake of brevity, I get what you mean. So um, how can they still be considered Catholic if they hate Pope Francis? I here's the thing, right? I picked up a girl and gave a gal a ride. She was a Catholic. I think she was from France. No, England. She was Catholic. And she said, you know what she said? We were talking about Catholicism. The Pope came up, right? And she said, I'm a Catholic. I go to Mass, but I absolutely 100% have nothing to do with the Pope. I don't believe anything he says. I don't assent to him, nothing. But I'm Catholic. Well, I'm sorry, but you're basically in schism when if you believe that in your heart and you're practicing what you're saying, you're basically a schismatic, right? But when you say hate Pope Francis, what kind of contempt and to which degree is there contempt for Pope Francis? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you could theoretically hate the Pope and still be a Catholic, um, as long as you're not like dissenting, publicly dissenting, and you're not like formally um, being a schismatic or a heretic. I guess I don't. Again, maybe someone else has a better answer on that, but I guess you could. I guess you could, but um, yeah. Ooh, Leo, hold on. Let me give you the two examples. St. John of Damascus says he doesn't view the Pope above other bishops, and the document must submit to Roman pontiff or we can't be saved. Um, if you could give me a bona fide verbatim quote or a link to where that's said, I'm not disagreeing. I'm not rejecting what you're saying or asserting there, but um, oh, so are you talking about Unum Sanctum? Pope Boniface where there's no salvation without submitting to the Roman Pontiff. If that's what you're asking, can you clarify that? Because then I could help you out maybe a little bit with that. Family Legacy Starter. You could be right about every catechism, but not the Catholic Catechism published in whatever 92. It's not. I mean, just go back to the index of quotes, and it's Saint Augustine. He's got him beat. He's got Aquinas beat by Saint Thomas Aquinas beat by like 37 quotes. But you could be right on every other catechism. I don't disagree. Yeah. Okay, so Leo, right? Uh, everyone must be subject to the Roman Pontiff. I believe he says every human creature, right? For his eternal salvation. I mean, that's just the same as saying there's no salvation outside the Catholic Church. It's the exact same thing, but that's ordinarily, that's formally, right? I mean, there are how many people who don't even know what the Pope is or what the Catholic Church is, right? So how can you be guilty of something you don't know or of no fault of your own? So it's not like, a loophole of how we get around these dogmatic statements. It's just, a lot of these bulls, like infallible parts of bulls, I mean, and like canons of councils, whom do you think they apply to? Protestants? Eastern? No, they apply to those to whom they're written, the Catholic Church, right? So, for instance, in the Council of Trent, when they're saying, if you say this, 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 and this, let him be anathema, they're saying that to bona fide Catholics in the jurisdiction, currently in the jurisdiction in the Catholic Church. They're saying if you subscribe or ascribe to these heresies, you will be excommunicated. So those anathemas didn't even apply to like Luther and Calvin. You know what I mean? I mean, can someone help me? Was Calvin? Yeah, Calvin grew up Catholic, didn't he? Anyways, um, but yeah, like if someone's not subject to the Roman Pontiff through no fault of his own or her own, there's no culpability there. There's no culpability there. Now, like me, I absolutely know that document and I know exactly what the church teaches about the formal submission to the church and to the Pope. And if I, with full knowledge and deliberate willful consent, said, no way, Jose, and I was obstinate about it and I was public about it, yeah, I have a problem. I have a problem. But for those outside of the church and not subject to the Roman Pontiff, and they are invincibly ignorant, There's nothing wrong with that. Yes, exactly. Material and formal heresy. I would say most Protestants are not under formal heresy. Now, I can't read anybody's heart, but most Protestants are born into Protestantism, right? Of no fault of their own. They have no idea that they should be Catholic. And likewise with any other faith for that any other religion. Well, now they're coming in like, guys, uh does anyone know how I can pop your question up on the screen in OBS? This is my first live stream, but let's okay. My dad always said that people are okay. Yes, Scholasticus and Corita. Sorry, I'm getting tired here. Unam Sanctam was also written primarily in response to the encroachments of King Philip IV of France, claiming to have higher authority in the French Church than the Pope. Yes, thank you. So you're dude, you how do I got to make you like a moderator, man. Absolutely, 100%. I couldn't have said it any better. Amen. So yeah, it's like, it's think about it like when dogmatic definitions are promulgated, you honestly have to think about the historical context in which they were written, right? Like Vatican II, right? Why wasn't Vatican II and the definitions and declarations on ecumenism written at the time of the Council of Florence? Well, you didn't have Protestants, that's for one. You know what I'm saying? Things were completely different. You didn't even have the Western Hemisphere explored yet. You know what I mean? So it's like 1962 versus 1450. Those historical contexts are completely different for the dogmatic development of what we have now as Vatican II and what we say about those outside of the jurisdiction of the church. What are the two best I can recommend to a Protestant friend, knowledgeable Protestant, who's interested in Catholicism? Oh gosh, man, that put me on the spot. Um, because when you say knowledgeable in Protestant theology, I'm guessing you're going for like the context of like a theological book. Um, gosh, that put me on the spot. Um, yeah, because I don't know how much he knows and doesn't know. The Catechism is always a good default because it's accessible, right? It's comprehensive. And it talks about every facet of our faith, social doctrine, dogma, um, morals, just everything, right? So I don't know. If you're wanting to go up for straight up theology, though, Saint Augustine Confessions. That'll be accessible, easy to read. There's tons of theological elements in the Confessions of Saint Augustine, 100%. Um, Trying to think of maybe some church fathers that would be accessible to a Protestant. Biblical commentary. So St. John Chrysostom, biblical commentaries. Oh, mwah, very good, very good, very good. Uh, Jesse, how can we pray for the conversion of a specific person? Atheists, other religion, like how to phrase a prayer. I mean, I don't think it's really the words, the content of the prayer itself as much as it is the the level of love in the heart behind the prayer. You know what I mean? So like you could pray Hail Marys, you could pray Our Fathers, you could offer up Mass, Holy Communion. You could even, I mean, if you have the right disposition and the love within your heart, you can even type up your own prayer for that person and make it like very poetic, very personal, right? That's what I would say. But yeah, I mean Saint Monica, she's the patron saint of conversions. So Saint Monica, pray for us. I think there are conversion prayers that you can look up. Um, yeah. Eucharistic miracles. Yeah, you know what's funny? That's yeah, yeah, that's good advice. I don't know. I've never actually taken that approach with a Protestant, like when I'm evangelizing or discoursing with a Protestant. I do know. I remember I sent a picture to a Protestant friend of the incorruptible body of Saint Padre Pio, and he didn't say anything. I don't know. I'm like, boom, you want some proof? You want, like substantiated miracles? Like, come on. Like we're living in first century Palestine and, Jesus is turning water into wine. Well, look at St. Padre Pio's incorruptible body, you know? I mean, if you're not going to believe that, let Moses and the prophets try to convince you. But all right. Uh it looks like we're kind of dwindling down here. I don't know where you guys are. Are we done? Last call for questions. Ask me anything. Again, guys, like I'm not a theologian or a spiritual director. I mean, I can give you advice as much as I can, but any other questions? Just it's interesting. A lot of these names I see in the chat, I've never seen you guys before in my other like comment section or videos. Are y'all new? Where did you guys come from? Hey, if you're new, please subscribe, please. I would greatly appreciate it if all y'all are new. Yeah, the Shroud of Turin. Yep, yep. But hey, guys, just a friendly reminder. I'm all about private devotions and prayerful devotions to relics, to like Our Lady of Fatima. Named all my children after them. Just be prudent and be careful, right? Because they're just that. They're just devotions. You know what I mean? They're a means to an end. See, so I honestly think some people can get inordinately obsessed with certain devotions, like Our Lady of Medjugorje. Again, I Pope Francis like approved it, and he's actually said go there for it's like 3 or 4 years ago. But there are people, I think, in just my humble opinion, that maybe take it overboard on Our Lady of Medjugorje. I don't know. I don't know. So just be careful, you know. Just be careful. Private devotions, if they don't lead you to a more or a deeper love of God and neighbor, and it just becomes an end in and of itself, these devotions and Shroud of Turin, Our Lady of Fatima, then just get rid of it. Get rid of it. You ever hear of St. John Chrysostom's against the Jews? I have not, Mark. I have not. Is it as is it as explicit as Martin Luther's uh against the Jews? Because I doubted it. There's no way it is. Oh my gosh, you guys want to hear something crazy? Hopefully no Protestants or Lutherans are on this. So, the Holocaust museums, or the Holocaust Museum. I don't know if they travel or if they're just stuck over in oh, where are they? In Germany or whatever. Do you know they have quotes of Luther? So Nazis like had quotes of Luther on some of the I don't know, memorabilia, if you could call it that, but just some of the things, artifacts or whatever you want to call from the Holocaust. There were quotes from Martin Luther. It's much more harsh. What? So like harsh, like Mel Gibson harsh? Like, you guys remember when he got pulled over for that DUI and just made that rant, anti-Semitic rant? Pray for Mel Gibson, man. Braveheart's my favorite movie of all time, and The Passion of the Christ is right up there, like right up there. Oh my gosh! Like, I knew his parents were sedevacantists, um, but I thought he wasn't. I thought he was just like very radically, you know what? And then now again, he's a bona fide sedevacantist. Yeah, pray for him. Amu, this is my first live stream ever. So I would love to do tons of live streams. Obviously I can't do it every night, but this would be the time to do it. 8 p.m. during the week. I doubt I'd do it on weekends. I have kids. But yeah, this would be the regular time, 8 p.m. I think I actually sent out a poll to my subscribers asking them what time would be the best. I think I said like 2 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and some arbitrary random. And they all said 8 p.m. So yeah. Yeah, Signs is a good movie. Yeah, it's I like Signs. Okay, so Signs. Let's talk about Signs just real quick. I loved Signs. So good, so intense. You know what I mean? And it had you on the edge of your seat until the end when the aliens, they were like asparagus green bean things like, and I was like just laughing. I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. So like, yeah, the end just ruined. It didn't ruin the movie, but it was just like, are you kidding me? Are you like really these asparagus things like Veggie Tail aliens? Like that's what we're fretting about this whole movie? Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Uh yeah, I read Rome Sweet Home. It played a part in my conversion. How about Talking with AI? Did you guys see my debate with AI? It only got 800 views. That was the most fun video I've ever made in my whole life. And everybody that watched it and commented said this is the most exciting, entertaining, fun video that they watched. And it got 800 views. The heck? Guys, go watch it. Go watch it like 30 times. And then when you're done with that, create another account with a different IP address and then watch it another 30 times. Help me out. Help a brother out. Help a brother out. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out that. St. John Chrysostom. The Seventh Seal. Never heard of it. Navy SEALs? Seal of the Holy Spirit? What are we talking about? Seventh Seal? Sounds apocalyptic or something. It's gotta be apocalyptic, right? Revelation, Seventh Seal? Where's everyone at? I'm in Kansas. Did you guys see my driver's license pictures? You want to see that? They're hilarious. You don't have a choice. You don't want to see my face. You want to see these. Look at this. Look at those faces, guys. So I'm in Kansas now. Well, pajama, I said I'm EST, or I said I'm CST. So I said 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Well, what are you doing up? Can't sleep? Is this going to put you to sleep? Can you guys see my driver's license pictures or not? Kind of a funny story behind that first one. Lady said, you might have to, they might not send that out to you. You might have to come back here and pay the $24 again. Oh, in Kansas. So, right, check this out in Kansas. I'm not making this up. So, let's go back to the picture, right? So, in Minnesota, the lady said, yeah, you're going to probably want to have to do another. These are my driver's license, uh, Frank. Well, let me tell you, Alex. Let me tell you. Oh my gosh, you're in Belgium? Okay. So the first one in Minnesota, the lady said that probably won't work. The Department of Transportation or whatever that issues these, they'll probably deny it. And then you have to come back in here, retake the picture, and pay the $24 again. So it was a gamble, right? It was a gamble. So I rolled the dice. Oh, Southern Minnesota? Hey, I'm from Mankato. Where are you from, Mark? I'm from Mankato, Minnesota. Terrence, good to see you, buddy. New Jersey. So the Minnesota one, I took a bro, go to bed. I took a gamble and said, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna take a risk. And they issued it and they put it, it got in the or they sent it to me in the mail. I opened it up. I was like a kid on Christmas. I'm like, yes. And back in these days when I was not a Catholic, I went to the bars frequently. And every time I pulled out my ID, I made the bouncer laugh. Every time. Now, go to Kansas. I moved to Kansas 4 years ago. I asked the lady taking the picture, I said, can I make a silly face? Can I make a silly face? And you know what she said? She said, as long as your eyes are open, you can do whatever you want. And I'm not making that up. I was too shy to do something like really silly, so I just did that. But yeah, Caledonia, southeastern Minnesota, I've been there. And yes, there was a haunted house in wait, like a legit haunted house in Mankato, because there was they had a haunted house for Halloween, but it wasn't like a bona fide haunted house. But yeah, probably that town, the whole town's probably haunted. Pajama Sam, Uh, trying to convert my girlfriend currently. Thank you for all you do on subject. Yes. What do you mean? What do you mean you're trying to convert your girlfriend? I'm just curious. You don't have to tell me. I know it's a personal question. Um, but if you feel free to ask me if you'd like. Are Catholics allowed to attend to a baptism of a Protestant brother? Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my, yes, please go. See, I'm not a canon lawyer, guys, but the only time I think it gets weird is when uh, Catholics are getting married outside of a Catholic church and they're like either inviting you or asking you to be a part of the wedding party. Then it gets weird. Again, I don't know. I'm not a canon lawyer. I have this memorized, but I don't. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Nephew teaches in West Mankato. Mankato West High School. I substitute taught there for uh the fall of 2017. Unreal. 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 Oh, Hallie, a legit one. I'll have to look at that. It's probably my house that I used to live in. The things I did in the house that I lived in Mankato would make it possessed. I'm sorry, haunted. Well, yeah, infested, whatever. Yes, it is my birthday. Thank you. Look, that's why I did this, guys. So I don't know. At the very beginning of the stream, my wife came on to support me, and she's like, "Hi, happy birthday." I'm like, "No, I was gonna ask my peeps, like, hey, you guys know what today is? It's very special." And then pull up these licenses and have you guys figure it out. But yeah, today's my birthday, January 22nd, 1983. You know what? Today is also the prayer for the unborn. And how many people are at Washington, D.C. right now? Anyone at Washington, D.C. right now? Waseca or Janesville? Oh, Janesville. The house that had the doll. So there's a house in Janesville on the main drag, and they put in the attic. There's this window, and they have this doll. It's the creepiest thing ever. And every time you drive by it, you have to look at it. Right? It's like you can't not look at it. And the story goes that the original owners of that house had a toddler, maybe two or three, right? And they were out in the front yard and they weren't watching the toddler. And so the toddler ran out in the street and got ran over and killed. And so, like, to memorialize the life of that toddler, they put that doll in that attic. But it's just, I mean, it's just creepy. I'm not trying to say that the kid or the whatever, the story's creepy, but it's just like you go there at night and you look up, and you can't not look. It's just crazy. It's crazy. Mervin, I did that intentionally. I'm trying to be silly on those photos. Catholic friend. Yeah, Terrence. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because like if you have a loved one, and you want to support, but if they're Catholic, it gets thorny, right? Because you can't explicitly and publicly support something that's illicit, right? Oh, Joe Heschmeyer. If you guys saw my top 5 Catholic YouTubers, he was number 3. And you know what's hilarious? You know what's hilarious? I said my number 3 top YouTube channel is Popeless Shamery. By accident. I had this like dyslexic episode and I said Popeless Shamery. Oh, I felt so bad. I hope he never sees that. I hope he never sees that. But he's the man. He is the man. 33rd Legion. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Appreciate that so much. God bless you. I'll say a Hail Mary. I will say a Hail Mary for every super chat that I get. Absolutely. I don't know how to get you guys on my screen. Like, I know in StreamYard it's easy. Just click on it and it pops you up on my screen. But I'll look into it. Yeah, Hallie. I know, right? Like, Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. It was a mistake though. It was a mistake. I didn't realize it until I aired it. I don't know, a few days after. But yeah, Joe Heschmeyer, he is. Oh my gosh, there's just something about him. You know what I mean? There's something about that guy. But oh, I don't know where you guys are. It's 9:20 here. Gosh, let me. I gotta. How can I get this on the screen? Oh, thank you, Ev. Or I'm sorry, Mama. How do I get you guys on the screen? Oh my gosh! Can I say who you are? EVS? Thank you so much. I love you. I love your picture. So I know who that is. That's super sweet. That just like made my night. Pray for EVS. Pray for them. So apparently there's some wildfires north of San Diego, I believe now. I don't know. Like people are setting these fires off or something. Like what's going on? Or is it just that dry? I don't know what's going on, but yeah, EVS is down by San Diego. So yeah, hopefully the fires don't touch that part of the area. So yeah, guys, I love you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing. Um this is crazy. I don't deserve this. I really don't. This isn't false humility, by the way. I'm just being straight up with you. I sat down with my wife and we did an interview and recorded it, and we made a YouTube channel, and I don't know, I got like 200 subscribers, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever. And yeah, this is weird. I don't know. I'm so thankful. Like I don't know, like it's the subscribers that make this. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just so grateful for every single subscriber. Every single one. I don't know. I'm just like choked up a little bit. Choked up a little bit, but yeah, you guys are the best. The best. I know I need to do more with the channel. I need to like uh EV, are they watching? Is Cuppies watching? Guys, I dressed up for this. It's my birthday. I'm gonna have to go pretty soon, but um EV. Got some family members in here. Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell hold on just a second. Um who I don't know what's going on here. Oh my gosh, what the heck? Okay, this is a family member, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Amor and Jackson. I appreciate it. I love you guys. I will pray for you. Thank you. Thank you. You're the best. I didn't think I'd get a dime. I didn't think I'd get a dime on Oh man. Well, I don't know. I'll take my wife out to um Taco Bell. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. We couldn't, what's funny, guys? Guys, check this out. So my wife and I were gonna celebrate my birthday tonight, right? And I didn't realize that I scheduled this live chat for tonight. So yeah, we're gonna go out tomorrow. But yeah, yeah, so tomorrow. We're going out tomorrow. Where should we go? I mean, yeah, you don't know where I am, but it won't be Taco Bell. It'll be Wendy's. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up in a couple minutes. Unless anyone has like a desperate question they need to ask, or just any. Oh gosh, I gotta look at that. Oof. That is not Versace. Yep, that's from the Goodwill, guys. I'm gonna return it to the Goodwill. Oh, Pope, yes. Guys, you know that joke? Oh gosh, we're all okay. All right. White Castle. Oh, you either hate White Castle or you love White Castle. I I don't know. It just doesn't look good coming out. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, Pope, yes, guys. So you know the restaurant Popeyes, right? Right? Popeyes, Louisiana, fast or chicken or whatever. It's Pope, yes. Split up the yes and the Pope. Popeyes is Pope, yes. What kind of food does she like? Deep fried. Sorry. She does. Thanks, Delta. Uh, thank you. Thank you, Delta. I appreciate you. Now I know you've been on my comments. Thank you. Yeah, White Castle. What's that movie? Uh, the White Castle movie. Yeah. Anyways. Oh, Pajama Sam. Would you have any advice on converting someone completely new? What do you Pajama? What do you mean? Like someone's new to Christianity and you want to convert him or her to Catholicism, or what do you mean? If you could clarify that, and then I'll have to go here. Oh, 33rd Legion. I literally made so I didn't debate James White, Dr. James White. I did not. I made my first reaction video to Dr. James White, and I'll probably just get it out tomorrow, if not tomorrow, Friday. But yeah, I've been waiting for a long time because he doesn't really come out with content frequently, and some of the stuff that he does on his channel, it's just informal, laid back, kind of nothing to react to. So, but he actually did an interview with some guy for an hour strictly on why people are drifting towards Catholicism and why they aren't Catholics, and I rebutted it. So look out for that. Yes, Terrence, Sickies, gonna go there. I hear it's good. I hear it's good. I hear it's good. Someone told me the jalapeno cheddar burger or something is good. Yes, James White is a Calvinist, is a Reformed Baptist. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you so much. All right, so you want your so Pajama Sam, you have a girlfriend who's a Christian, I'm guessing a Protestant, and you're interested in converting her to Roman Catholicism. Did I get that right? Um, you're probably typing. I don't know what you caught of my live stream tonight or where you joined or when you joined rather. Um, but you have to be very, very careful and prudent on what you say to her or what you don't say to her. Not Christian, not even religious, but yeah. Okay. Okay. I mean, the best advice I can give, without not without knowing the context and who you guys are, how old you are, where you're at in your faith, and where she is just spiritually, I guess. Again, for you, because you're a Catholic, right, Pajama? So if you're a Catholic, focus on yourself and your holiness. You need that true devotion to Mary. You need it. Okay? She'll get you the dispositions for you to get the increase of, you know, sanctifying grace and love in your soul. And then you got to root out, I mean, you got to ask for the grace, but you got to root out, if you have them, I'm not saying you have them, but daily deliberate venial sin. Ask for the grace to root that out. Okay? It takes grace. I mean, no one can do this on them on themselves. It's getting late, guys. You know what I mean. But oh, congratulations, man. I'm guessing you're a man because of Sam. Well, Sam, that could be a congratulations, Pajama Sam. That's awesome. What made you revert? What was it? that could play into how you treat the evangelizing of your girlfriend. The Ellen Tulip can be limited to full structure. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, they're all Delta. They're all false. They're all false. Tulip is no bueno. The preservation of the saints, you could qualify that, but their version is highly different than ours. Yes, Mark. Amen. Absolutely. You need, yeah, let your conversion work with your action of faith. But remember, let the action do the talking, not you don't have to coerce her or manipulate her or convince her with argumentation, right? That won't convert anyone. That'll just push her further away. But if she comes up to you and asks you a question to provoke you into a conversation about Catholicism or about faith or religion or whatever, then yeah, let your words come out. But again, be prudent, be charitable, be patient, and ask her questions too. Don't just dominate the conversation and say, well, these are all the dogmas and this is what you got, then you'll lose her. You'll lose her. But just pray, sacrifice, suffer, and have that true devotion to Mary for yourself. And then anything you do for her will be efficacious in terms of congruous merit. Uh, oh gosh, don't even compare me to Trent Horn and Joe Heschmeyer. Those guys are way above my league. And that's not false humility. That's just the truth. I appreciate that, but yeah, that they've been doing it for quite a long time. I'm relatively 22 revert here. History and learning about church teaching is what got me, and now my wife. Good, good. To be deep in history is to cease to be Protestant. I mean, it's funny how Protestants react to that because they'll make the claim that, well, the first early Christians or the church fathers and all that, they weren't Catholic or Eastern Orthodox. Well, who were they? What were they? And what church did they belong to? It's silly, but any book recommendations to delve deeper into Catholic theology after Catechism? Yes. I would recommend. I just got a book. It's called On Divine Revelation by Father Garrigou Lagrange. Go to Scholastic Answers, though. So Christian Wagner, he's Scholastic Answers. He's the one you need to go to because he has a website which lists all the books of different types of theology because there's systematic theology, there's moral theology, there's sacred theology, I mean, you know what I mean? So and he's an expert in that. Like he's a bona fide expert in that. So go to his website. But I would say anything by Father Garrigou Lagrange, any Dominican theologian, um, you'd be good. That's just my personal opinion. How do you solely accept Mary as a Protestant? Are you a Protestant? Are you just asking that for Protestant or just rhetorically or in general? You know, Martin Luther was the most Marian reformer. He believed in the four dogmas of Mary. He never recanted them, and in his writings, he was very Marian. He always had recourse to Mary. So if he can, I mean, anyone should be able to. I mean, there are conservative Lutherans who pray the Magnificat, even though it's scripture, but they pray the Magnificat, but in honor of Our Lady. Um, and many conservative Lutherans hold to the today, hold to the dogma of Theotokos, the Mother of God. St. Ignatius Study Bible is excellent. So I only have the New Testament. Okay, Mervin, can you tell me this? I'm assuming the new one with the Old and the New Testament together, the new one that just came out, is that New Testament the same as the New Testament that has already been out, the one that I have right here? Is this included in the new one? This is just the New Testament? Is that okay? Someone can answer me for that. What? Yes. Pray for, if everyone can say a prayer for Danielle going through OCIA, that would be amazing. Just a Hail Mary. Terrence, I called into Catholic Answers once. Tim Staples was on. Asked him a question and he sent me his book. That was kind of cool. Yeah. Yeah, Keith Nestor. If you guys ever seen uh his video, it's his conversion story at a church. I think it has like 500,000 views. Oh my gosh, dude. It's so edifying and uplifting. Oh man. He's so passionate and zealous. Like he's just nothing holds him back. He's got so much grit. He's like St. Paul. Yeah, he's just zealous, gritty and just oh man. Yeah. Right, it has both, but what I'm asking is does it have the same New Testament version that has been out since the 2010? Yeah, 2010. So this one came out in 2010, right? Gosh, why can't I? 2010. It's only the New Testament. What I'm asking is does the new study Bible, Ignatius Catholic Study Bible, which does have the Old and the New, is the New Testament, this one, just included with the Old Testament? Does that remember? I can't even talk. I don't even know what's going on. I didn't think this would. Hey, Saintly Savvy. Yeah, we're just chilling. It's good to see ya. Unfortunately, Saintly, I'm gonna have to probably go here pretty soon. It's hard to leave though. This is just too fun. What's going on in this chat? Here, I'll just leave up. I'll leave up the chat all night. I'll go to bed. You guys can talk about recess and. Okay, thanks, Terrence. That's what I thought. Yeah, RSVCE. Yep. So, kind of a funny story. So, this one right here, right? When I read it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is one of the best study Bibles I've ever, or biblical commentaries that I've ever read. And I thought that Scott Hahn only did the foreword, like the introduction. And it turns out that him and Curtis Mitch like did the whole thing. And I'm just like, yep, Dr. Scott Hahn, he's a bona fide biblical scholar. Like, like Rome Sweet Home is one thing, but he does some more advanced things, behind the scenes. But yeah, man, I'm hungry. All right. What was it? $80? The Ignatius Catholic Study Bible, Old and New, is it like 80? Batman Incorporated. What's your favorite Batman movie? Guys, any other questions about like literally? I said ask me anything too. So otherwise, I'm gonna have to go here in like 2 minutos. Ooh, Brant Petrie, yes. What's good about Brant is obviously the titles of the book, but like the Jewish pedigree and the Jewish roots, like that's so huge. Especially when you're reading the New Testament, you have Jews writing these letters to Jews, right? Oh, I have the Navarre New Testament. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not as it skips a lot of verses though, but it's super good. Saint Jose Maria Escriva. I think it has a hardcover and a leather bound cover. It just depends on how much you're willing to. $80. That ain't. Yeah, that's worth it. That's worth it. Yeah, the 89 one was my favorite. I'm sorry I couldn't do the Dark Knight. I couldn't do it. No offense. The voice of Batman just I couldn't. But yeah, the 89 one was amazing. Do you know? Still think Jack Nicholson still holds the record for the most money made in a supporting actor role from that movie. I think it's still like with inflation, I think it's still the most someone's ever made. Do I like the Denver Nuggets? No, Minnesota Timberwolves, man. Anthony Edwards all day. Come on. Would I ever do a live debate? Maybe. A big maybe. And I'll tell you why. There are two reasons. There are two reasons. I don't know. A big maybe. Two reasons. First of all, debates, in my humble opinion, they're more entertaining than they are edifying. Now, can you get edifying elements out of the debates that you maybe didn't know about before? Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure you can, right? Can you learn stuff? Yeah, of course. Okay. Okay. Debates are most of the time they're polemical. They're to win an argument while simultaneously proving the other person wrong. And to me, that just breeds a lack of charity. Okay. Now, is there anything inherently wrong with debates? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I've never heard of any interlocutor converting the other one through a debate. For instance, Dr. James White has debated Catholics, what, 20 times? I don't know, I could be wrong. 20 times? And he's just as anti Catholic as he was in 1993. Now, I will say when he debated Alex from Voice of Reason, it softened his heart a little bit because Alex from the Voice of Reason was the most humble and charitable debater that he's ever done and prompted Dr. James White to stop in the middle of his, I think, first rebuttal or opening sentence, I can't remember, opening statement, and go over and shake his hand and hug Alex. But overall, debates, I think, aren't constructive and fruitful to the point of, is this really building up the kingdom of God? Now, me personally, would I do a live debate? Here's the thing, right? This is what I don't understand or how people do this. So, opening statement, I got it. I mean, it's you read off a piece of paper, right? Cross examination, bring it on. I'm not trying to be boastful. I'm just saying, like, I think I could handle the cross examination. Closing statement, fine. This is where I would struggle in a live debate. Rebuttals, rebutting to what my interlocutor said. I have no idea because I've seen like all the debates. How on earth do they remember and or write down everything their opponent said in either their opening statement, rebuttal, or whatever? I'm like, so if my opponent, my interlocutor, is doing a opening statement or rebuttal, I don't know how I'd write it all down. And so I would just do horribly um, during the rebuttals. Islam Nod, thank you so much for the super chat. Can you do a video on the Ortho Bros Jay Dyer? Oh gosh. I think you'd have to be more specific. I think oh gosh. Um when you mean Ortho Bros, do you mean like his followers? I'm pretty sure because Ortho Bros I think just extend to like the general Eastern Orthodox cult following. You know what I mean? That whole uh I mean, I could just maybe send me one that you would want me to. I don't know if I'd ever dialogue with him. That he ooh. I know some Eastern Orthodoxy is not my specialty. I know some stuff, but Protestantism is you know where I'm whatever specialized more in. Oh, Jimmy Aiken and Bart Ehrman debate. Bart Ehrman. That was a good one. What do you think about Donald Trump? Oh gosh. You guys want to know my honest opinion about Donald Trump? Gosh, I'm having too much fun with this. You ready for this? Jesus is king. What? Nah. How do you know that? Where does that come from? Thanks, Odd. Appreciate it, man. God bless you too, brother. Oh, Francis Chan, yeah. Oh man. How is he not Catholic? Like I remember what he gave a talk on the real presence on the Eucharist, and that was like months and months ago. But he was saying it with such fervor and conviction. Like, yeah, how is he not Catholic? I have no idea. But a journey. It takes a lot to convert. Jesus is king. You got to substantiate that, man. Because I would love. I told him you ranked him number. Did you DM him or did you say that in a super chat or what? Because he's the man. He's the man. Sorry, whom did I was talking about someone. Oh, Donald Trump. Do you guys really want my opinion on that? Okay, you guys talking about Christian? What? It's on his stream. What's on his stream? Like a video? Oh, like a live stream he did lately? Like he played it? Um, guys, or Islam. I respect your opinion. I do. I respect you. I really do. But just please be careful because Christian is like, yeah, he's the man. Just be careful, okay? I don't mind you voicing your opinion, but just be careful, please. I'm trying to say that with charity. I don't have an impression of Donald Trump. Here goes about Donald Trump. You want to hear it? I don't know if you guys are into politics. I used to be. I'm not anymore. But um, so the president of the United States has a dual role, right? So in England, right, it's a monarchical government. So you got the Queen of England as the head of state, and then the Prime Minister is like the chief executive, right? You with me with on that? Well, in the United States, that dual role is encompassed or encapsulated rather in the presidency. So there's no two. It's not separate. So you have two roles. Well, Donald Trump as the head of state. This is my opinion. I hate politics, and I'm not trying to. If you guys want to rip on me, fine. I don't care. Okay. But Donald Trump was the worst head of state because the head of state represents the entire people of the nation, right? Right wing, left wing, what red, blue, whatever, moderate, in between, all that. So if you want a good model of a good head of state, Ronald Reagan. He was a conservative Republican, but he unified the country as a presidential head of state, right? Donald Trump divided everybody. I'm not judging him. I'm just saying, like, I'm not offended by what he says. Like, he's from New York. The dude is a New Yorker. He's going to talk like that. Everyone's saying he's a bully and all this and like blah, 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 blah. He's a New Yorker. Okay. So he's going to have that abrasive rhetoric. He's just going to have it. Now, do I agree with it? No. Should you maybe be a little more prudent? Yes. Okay, whatever. But as a chief executive of getting stuff done, who's been better? Oh, and foreign diplomacy? Who's been better than Donald Trump? Going back to Reagan. When it comes to that stuff, chief executive. So there's a bunch of different stuff: fiscal policy, um, foreign diplomat, chief commander in chief. There's like 50 roles or whatever. I'm just saying, objectively, he got it done. He walked into North Korea. You can hate his guts and want him to die or whatever. He went into North Korea twice. And you know who commended him? You know who commended him? Anyone want to take a guess? Come on, talk to me. Talk to me. Who commended Donald Trump for being diplomatic and walking into North Korea? Why am I talking about Donald Trump at 9:49? What did you guys get me into? Pope Francis commended him. But then he had some other things to say about him as well. But yeah, I think he's like one of the best chief executives, one of the worst heads of state. So it's like the most polarizing figure ever. Donald Trump is like the most polarizing president, bar none. Yeah, I taught and it was horrible. Don't ever teach middle school. Don't ever teach middle school. Oh my gosh, just horrible. Hey, at least you guys okay, we have some common ground when it comes to Trump. I don't know. I can see why people don't vote for him. Absolutely. I can see why people vote for him. Absolutely. What I don't understand is people voting for people that advocate murdering babies in the womb. That I don't get. But that's just me. Christian's response video on what? Oh my god! Don't tell me he did a response video on me correcting me. Oh, on Jimmy Aiken. Oh, you guys are talking about that. Oh gosh, I don't know if we should talk about that. I don't know. You know, okay, Islam, seriously, I warn, this is your last warning. Please do not do that. I don't even if you do say that about someone who actually is a ravenous wolf in sheep's clothing, that doesn't mean you should say it publicly, okay? Can you just not use that type of language? I'm trying to be nice. Oh, you guys. All right. All right. I love you guys. I mean, it's uh I could do this all night, but I really do have to go. What is it? 9:52. Guys, I really do appreciate all your subscribing to my channel. I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that. I want to do as many live streams as possible. this the chat is getting the chat is getting spicy. Thank you, Mark. I can't keep going. Oh my gosh, that pipe down comment was hilarious. I'm sorry. I can't, guys. I can't. Women bishops, there is no such thing as a woman bishop. It's like saying there's a gay marriage. There's no such thing. I taught English and then special education and religion. Yeah. Okay, okay, guys, check this out. Everybody give me a time. Okay, Central Standard Time. You guys are all living somewhere in the world, whatever. Give me a time, Central Standard Time, and how many days a week I should do a live stream. And then I gotta go. Or maybe I'll just do a poll on that, okay? I'll do a poll on that. I really gotta go though. Kind of hungry. Learning history. Is it past my bedtime? Can I stay up till 10? Pipe down. Hey, how do you know Father Ned Blick? Alex, were you one of my students? 5 days per week. Yeah, right. Why did I stop teaching English? No, it's why did I stop teaching middle school? Thanks, Mervin. God bless you. Appreciate that, bro. Dude, Father Ned is the man. Was I kicked from a private school? Me? I quit one. Nine. No, you gotta tell me Central, Eastern. I don't know what 9 p.m. means. Yes, I love Bishop Barham. How can you not? Bishop Barron is Bishop Barron is pretty much Fulton Sheen reincarnated, even though we don't believe in that. Father Ned Flanders. Oh man, you guys are Lewis, you better have subscribed to my channel. I don't know who you are. See, Jerry Matitix is one person why I don't like debates. Look what I'm not saying debates did what happened to him, but I debates can be very guys, apologetics and debates can send you straight to hell. Not inherently, I'm just saying like knowledge puffs up. You know what I mean? Like I see so many people, I've known people, not like personally, but I've known people who've done debates and apologetics and yeah, they're like set of a contest, they're you name it. And it's just cuz yeah, the ego. The ego is the worst enemy. Our Lady is the key to converting anybody, yes. Yeah, smash that sub button. Smash it. Oh my gosh. This is creepy. Alex, that's creepy, man. What? Apparently, how do I have a student in my an old student of mine in my live chat? Ah, muchas gracias. ¿Qué tal? Buenas noches. Ahora. Yes, I've been to the Vatican. Uh, Hulk knows Latin. What's the main idea? I don't know what that means. Can I read Latin? No. I mean, learning history, does that mean I'm done? Just can you please be specific? Are you asking me if I can pray in Latin? Kyrie eleison? Agnus Dei? You should do a review of different Catholic rites. That would be awesome. I don't know enough about the Eastern rites to do that, I think. No, Islam, I cannot. Yes, Terrence, guys. Okay, guys. I love you. This was way too much fun. Pipe down. Pray for Father Ned Flanders. I'm sorry, Father Ned Blick. He's the man. Um, what else? Subscribe, like. I love you guys. Praise be Jesus and Mary. I'm shutting down the live stream. I will try to do this again. Um, maybe Friday? I'm Ron Burgundy. Oh, actually, it fooled you. I'm going to have to block some people here. One second. Wow, creepy. See ya. Sorry, I had to. Like, it was just. I literally, guys, okay, this is the last thing I'm saying. Last thing I'm saying, and I'm stopping the stream. I literally, so I used to teach at a middle school here in town. I'm not going to tell you where. Some of you know, whatever. And I quit. I quit my job. Matthew Gonzalez, you're. Um, and I have like 3 ex-students in this chat. They somehow found me and they're like, "Why did you quit? Did you get fired?" All that. What? Gosh, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. All right. Sports jacket, Goodwill. Have a very good night.